Most companies know that they should worry about web application attacks, but don't really understand what the impact is on their business. If we look at this website, we notice when the customer has to sign up for this website, they have to enter their username, password, and credit card number. So let's hack into the database via the web application via something called SQL Injection, and let's steal everybody's username, password, and credit card number out of the database. So the first thing that the hacker is going to do is surf around and look for a spot that looks like it's hitting the database. So this has product and price and availability. It's going to some table in the database for that information. Now if you notice the URL up here, it doesn't change. When I go from the home page into products, into books, that URL remains the same, but it's as simple as me just right clicking on this, saying properties, and it'll give me the real URL. So if I cut that out of here and I paste it up here, that's the real URL that it's going to. So if we look at this, it's running a program called showproducts.asp. Showproducts.asp is going in the database and saying give me product and price and availability from some table where catalog ID equals 1. So the first thing I try to do is parameter tampering. What if I make it a 2? What if I make it a 99? In this case, I make it a 99. We don't get anything back, but we don't get an error back either. So what that means is there's no number 99 in the database, but it went to the database for that information. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do SQL injection by adding some really easy SQL here, or 1 equals 1. And in database words, what or 1 equals 1 means is everything is true. So it's going to say, give me number 99, which doesn't exist, or 1 equals 1, and if it works, we should get a list of everything for sale on the website. So it worked. Not real dramatic. We can surf around and we can get this data elsewhere on the website, but now we know for sure we can do SQL injection here because we just did it. Now I'm trying to steal username, passwords, and credit card numbers out of the database. I can't change that. The underlying SQL query, showproducts.asp, is hard-coded to look for product and price and availability. What I can do is I can add SQL to it by adding what's called a union select here. So I type in union select null and I get an error. So what I'll do is I'll try 2 nulls, and I'll try 3 nulls, and I'll keep on going until I have the right number of nulls. In this case, the right answer is 6. When I have the right number of nulls, I get the form back with no data in it. The reason I have no data is I'm selecting a catalog ID that doesn't exist. I'm selecting nulls and all the rest of my fields, but now I have the right number of fields that the database is looking for. So now what I can do is, instead of putting nulls in all the fields, I can write a query that says select name and ID from sysobjects where x type equals u, which sounds a little confusing, but basically what it's doing is saying instead of giving me product and price and availability, give me all the internal tables that make up this application. So this is stuff that only the database administrator should be able to see. I haven't even got to a part of this application where I even had to log in yet, and I can see all the internal database tables. So the admin users table I probably want to look at, but the users table probably has username, password, credit card number, credit card expiration date. So what I'll do then is I'll write a query to look at all the columns in the users table. I get username, I got password, I get credit card number, I got credit card expiration date. So now I can look at all the tables that make up your application. I can look at all the columns in all tables, so I can do anything a database administrator can do. I can add data, delete data, change data. In this case, we're trying to steal credit card numbers and username and passwords out of here. So what I'll do then is write a query to grab all the usernames and credit card numbers out. And then I'll write a separate query to grab all the passwords and credit card numbers. Now, notice the credit card number I displayed in a price field. It doesn't look like a credit card number, but if you put all those numbers together, it is. Some companies will tell you they'll protect you from your credit card numbers getting stolen by looking for 4 numbers minus 4 numbers minus 4 numbers stolen out of the database. Companies that tell you that don't even understand how SQL injection works, because as you can see here, I displayed it as a price field. It doesn't look like a credit card number, but it actually is. Also notice I have all the usernames in alphabetical order. I have all the passwords in alphabetical order, but I don't know what username goes to what password. I could match up the credit card number because the credit card number is going to be a unique field to the username and password, or I could use concatenation. I notice here in the search engine, if I look for the matrix, I get a matrix DVD. If I put a single quote in here, I get an error. There's probably a SQL injection vulnerability. If I know what I'm doing here, I can write a SQL query in here to grab all the username, passwords, and credit card numbers all in one place. So this is a real easy example of SQL injection. And again, your firewall, your IDS, your IPS, none of that is finding this. You have to have a web application firewall in order to protect yourself from these type of attacks.